Maui, shapeshifter, demigod of the wind and sea, I am one
Hero of men.
What?
It's actually Maui, shapeshifter, demigod of the wind and sea, hero of men. I interrupted from the top. Hero of men. Go.
I am
Sorry. And women. Men and women. Both. All. Not a guy-girl thing. Maui is a hero to all. You're doing great.
There's an awful lot written about negotiating, and what I've learned about negotiating is that no two people have the same negotiating style. In my case, my negotiating style is typically to be expedient. I'm not a believer in stretched out or long-term negotiations. I like to get deals done and relatively quickly. In order to achieve that, I typically like to put things on the table in a fairly candid manner, in a direct manner, and quickly. One might argue that that's not necessarily a way to get the best result, but in my case, I happen to believe that if you want to do a deal, and you want to do a deal relatively quickly, the best way to do it is to get at basically the particulars or the essence of what you want to achieve right away. Even if it means revealing to the other side or the other party where you might want to be in a way that perhaps gives away a little bit more to them so that it gives them some advantage from a negotiation perspective. I enter most negotiations realizing that a negotiation has to be ultimately two-way in terms of its benefits. Each party, I believe, serve better if they come away from the negotiation having felt like they've accomplished something or they've won something. So I don't have a winner-take-all approach when it comes to negotiations. I think if you go into a negotiation with a winner-take-all approach, the negotiation is less expedient. It typically takes longer because the other side doesn't want to give up everything in the negotiation. So I like to go in knowing that there are things that I need to achieve or that we need to achieve as a company, also realizing that the same might be true for the party that we're negotiating with. I've done 4 big deals during the 14 years that I've been CEO: Pixar, Marvel, Lucasfilm, and then 21st Century Fox. And in each case, there was a controlling entity or an individual on the other side where all roads essentially in the negotiation and the deal really led to and ultimately through that person. And so in each case, it was necessary for me to forge a personal relationship with them in order to either convince them to sell the company that they controlled or to convince them that we were the right entity to sell to. One great example of entering a negotiation, one with an idea of it being expedient, and two, knowing exactly what needed to be achieved, at least on our part in the negotiation, is the negotiation with Steve Jobs over the acquisition of Pixar. I told Steve from the beginning, look, this is something that the Walt Disney Company really needed to do. I did not use the word desperate, but I think he might have concluded that, hey, this guy at the other side of the table seems desperate, therefore I can get whatever I need. Interestingly enough, in Steve's case, I think he reacted to that in a very positive way because there was a spirit of candor at the negotiating table that he truly appreciated, and he realized that there wasn't a game being played. Instead, there was a discussion, a negotiation with an absolute result in mind. And in a way, it was a way of stripping away egos. I didn't come to the table with an ego, my ego. That tends to be immaterial to me. Instead, I try to look at what is it that needs to be achieved in a negotiation? How do we best achieve it? How do I best communicate to the other side where we need to come out in a negotiation? And how do I best understand where they need ultimately to come out in a negotiation? I think if you end up focusing on egos too much, then it tends to, I think, affect the dynamic of a negotiation in a negative way.